Hello everyone. So as you guys can tell, I am now uploading my videos on Sundays instead of Wednesdays because I just feel like that is better for everybody. There's some people who are like, oh, I watch your videos on Wednesdays on my lunch break. And I'm like, you probably don't want to do that. So obviously most people have Sundays off and you can now enjoy my videos with your morning Sunday coffee. Also, that's what my analytics told me, is that you guys are actually mostly all on Sundays. So yeah, made the switch to Sundays, so weekly videos every Sunday. So I am back in Canada. Obviously, you guys know that I've been here for a couple of weeks now, and I'm going to be creating tonight. So it's going to be a self-portrait. I'm out at Wedge Pond. Many of you will know where that is. It's in Kananaskis. There's not a soul here. I have the entire place to myself, but it's also really, really smoky. I don't know what happened today, but smoke blew in from somewhere. Haven't looked it up yet where it's coming from. But that's okay, because it actually works really well with the scene that I want to photograph, which I will show you later on in the video. But first, we obviously need to talk about the title and why you clicked on this. So usually I get emails from you guys, which I love. I absolutely love reading them, and they're always really like vulnerable and deep, and you share a lot of things with me. But I do notice a theme with a lot of people, and it's about the creative rut. And sometimes I get emails where people are like, I've been in one for years. Sometimes it's just a few months, sometimes a few days. Well, the one thing that I can say about that is a creative rut is completely normal, and you should go through them. And did you guys know there's actually like a psychology behind this? Usually during a creative rut, a creative surge follows after that. So maybe try and think back to a time where you just weren't feeling it, you couldn't create, and then all of a sudden you're just creating all this magic. So very common that this happens. You're definitely not alone. Anyways, this video is mostly about, like, I can't really tell you how to get out of a creative rut, again, because I think they're normal, but there are some things that I do that if I'm in a creative rut, which happens all the time, and I really, really want to create, but I'm just kind of stumped and not knowing what to do, I follow the input-output method. So I absorb a lot of inspiration. I Google, I'll think of a scene, maybe like a lake. We'll use a lake, for example, like a portrait in a lake. So I actually go to Google before I go to social media platforms, and I'll type in a bunch of words like girl, lake, dress, whatever. And a whole buffet of stuff comes up. It's not always necessarily photography. There's paintings, there's paintings, drawings, just everything, and of course photographs. And I actually get a lot of inspiration from that, because then I find new works from people that I'm not following. And then when I feel inspired and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's incredible, I immediately get like this surge. I need to go out and create something like that. So input, a lot of input, absorb all the inspiration that you can, and then follow it by output. And that's probably where I would say try to like recreate what somebody else has done, because then you'll likely kind of find a style of your own if you do that. But then you'll also have a vision of what you are trying to create, which will help you kind of get going and get out of that little funk. I know that kind of sounds wishy-washy and like much easier said than done, but it really, really does work. And there's also a psychology behind awe, like the word awe, awe-inspiring. And when you feel awe, and a lot of the times on my Instagram stories, not necessarily on YouTube, but on my Instagram stories, I'm always really excited when I'm out photographing, and that actually impacts people. That makes them get excited and they want to go out and create. So, you know, find a reason to be like, wow, this is amazing. And I promise you, it will help you get out of that creative rut. I have Ollie with me, by the way, and he is being mischievous right now. Come here. But again, since I'm all alone, it's kind of nice having him here. Here he is. You can't see him, but he's right in front of me. It's really nice having him because I'm a little bit afraid of bears when I'm out here. Not that Ollie can do anything, but I just feel like we're a team, and yeah, just safer this way. To the people who have been in a creative rut for years, I don't think that that's a creative rut, to be quite honest. And this might like be a little bit brutal, what I'm about to say, but I think if it's been years and years and you're really not feeling it with photography, I think you need to kind of assess if photography actually is for you, because it shouldn't be that way. Or just try something that reignites your love for it. And I also have to say this as well, because it doesn't just come to you. Like, the magic doesn't just happen. It's not always on fire. It's not always like, wow, this is just incredible. You kind of have to work for it. Like, you have to have responsibility to yourself and discipline and get yourself out there, even if you don't feel like it. I'm a big believer in that. Like, we often get in our own way with the thoughts in our minds, and like we can just spiral like, oh, I can't do this, I can't create that. But again, for people who are like feeling this for months and months and months, there's clearly something still in there, or something still there with you with photography. Again, if you're watching this video, but maybe just step back to the drawing board and be like, what does photography really mean to me? And like, how does it add to my life? All right, I think that that is enough talking. I can't like really articulate my thoughts very well sometimes. So remember, input, output. I promise that that helps. Now it is time to get shooting. It was actually raining this whole time I was filming this, but I'm hiding underneath a tree. But now it's time to get out shooting. The lake is right in front of me. It's spectacular. There is a beautiful calm reflection. And yeah, so I'll take you guys through the whole process and show you my vision and what I'm trying to create. Hey, come here. Come here. Come on. That is the slowest walk ever up the mountain. Hi, hi. Okay, there's Ollie. Anyways, there is the lake. That is the main scene I'm going to be photographing. You can see all of the smoke. It is wild. But of course, in good old Sarah fashion, I'm going to be standing in that lake. Let me break down the composition for you guys. Typically at this lake, again, many of you know it, a lot of people photograph those mountains over there, and they actually stand all the way back there along that edge. Again, that's the most common scene. I've photographed it many times, but I like this because I love how the two mountains dip into the one mountain right there. And because it's smoky, it's like this beautiful, really muted blue. And of course, come on, look at that dreamy reflection, which I hope stays by the time I get out there and photograph. But let's use Ollie for scale. Something like that, but of course I'll be in the lake and not around sniffing the rocks trying to look for fish. Okay, so I'm all set up. This is going to be the composition. Of course, it's very hard to see on the back of the camera, but I'll pull out so you can see it a little bit better. It's having, there we go, now we're focused. But obviously this is the main composition, and it is much wider on the back of my camera because I'm using my 16-35. But I'm going to put on the dress, and then I'm going to walk right into the scene where the focus point is. And I'm just going to walk forward until, I don't know, maybe the water touches my pants or something. But I think that when I walk into the water, it's going to create a lot of beautiful ripples behind me, which is going to add to the photo. Having Ollie out here is like having a child. I'm so serious. I have him off leash, and I should not have him off leash, so don't tell on me. But I just want to give him like a little room to kind of walk around. He's a big scaredy cat, so he never goes too far, but always have to watch him. Squirrels. Okay, I'm in the dress, and at this point, like once I take this shot, because I'm gonna get wet, my dress is gonna get wet, everything is gonna get wet, I basically just have to commit at this point and just do it. It's gonna be very cold after, even though it's summertime. It's not exactly the warmest in the Rockies, but it's pretty, it's bearable. So yeah, it's just starting to rain again, so I might wait a little bit for that to pass, but it's walk into the lake time.
There's no change in what change has come. So let it rain down, let it pour me out to the water, let it float around.
All finished, and that worked out honestly beautifully. There's one thing that I forgot to touch base on, was my drone flying skills. What do you guys think? Because you obviously saw it at the intro of the video. I got a Mini 3, a little bit of an upgrade from the Mini 2, but I might actually take it back and get the Pro, which I probably should have just gotten in the first place. So probably gonna have to reassess the drone and get a new one, because I need it to do more things. But I am absolutely loving the drone. And I do have to say, when I was talking about creativity and like a rut and inspiration, I have been so inspired lately by drone work that I binge watch so many videos on YouTube of people who are really, really good. And that makes me want to get out and fly the drone. Input, output, it definitely works.